That's, you know, entertainment money is in LA.
Hip and Ye still fuck with each other?
Who?
Hip and Ye still fuck with each other?
I mean, they don't got beef. They cool.
I know what that means.
They don't got no beef. I mean, you know, niggas made money. They did their thing.
All right, we live now.
Ain't no beef with nobody.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
All right. We back at a special edition of Truth Be Told. We got some very esteemed gentlemen on the horn with us right now. I mean, Skotch Davis, Mickey Factz. Of course, you know me. You know No Mercy. Truth Be Told, Trap New York, PMG Radio, No Mercy TV. We have No Mercy's lovely wife with us, Myrtle.
How are you guys?
Bless.
And we got Eliza coming on, but I definitely want Mickey and Skotch to introduce themselves because I can't give them a better introduction than they can give themselves. So Mickey, introduce yourself real quick.
Yo, what's going on, man? Mickey Factz, Bronx MC, lyricist extraordinaire, father, husband, all around intelligent man.
All right, Skotch Davis.
Skitter from the Blitter, Skotch Davis, culture connoisseur, MC, Harlem World, guard your girl.
That's what it is. The PMG Radio co-host Eliza Queen will be here shortly. Skotch is heading to the crib to charge his phone, so if he cuts out, he'll be right back.
I'll be literally right back.
All right, but let's start it here, man. Let's start it here. Let's start with the tweets, man. Ye had a lot to say on Twitter. Man, do y'all think he was wrong for airing out his marriage on Twitter though like that?
Yes, the hell he was. What are you doing?
That wasn't smart. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
No,
you do not do that.
What you thought about that Mick is a married man? What you thought about that?
You gotta definitely keep marriage away from Twitter when you're going through issues, man. It's just not something that should be out there in the public. You know what I'm saying? I think Jada and Will, you know, up until this August Alsina situation, did a very good job at, you know, keeping their private life private. You know what I'm saying? So like you can't, you know, I feel like, you know, Ye is going through some bipolar issues and maybe some medication issues that, you know, at least that's what his wife is saying. And you know, it
was that fair game
shame,
though?
but,
Was Kim's response fair game?
Yeah, because she didn't even go in on it.
You know, she didn't go in. You know, everybody expected, you know, because of what the reports were saying. The reports were saying that she's furious with him and that she's trying to divorce him. But then, you know, her response was the actual opposite. It's like, yo, this is a time, you know, this is something that I've been dealing with for a long time, and now it's public. He's, you know, everybody's always claiming mental health. We need to support people with mental health. But when someone who is as big as Kanye is going through an episode of mental health, everybody either has jokes or they're calling him crazy, or, you know, they're not actually diving deep into the issue at hand. You know what I'm saying? So I think she handled that beautifully. You know, that's probably one of the best moments of their marriage that I can see, where she actually cares about him and his well-being.
Yeah, she seemed like she really understands it. Like,
right.
She don't seem new to it.
Well, as you know, Myrtle and No Mercy, y'all are married. As a married couple, man, how difficult is it day to day to keep that ball rolling of marriage, to keep it, you know, together, to keep it going, you know, because a lifetime is a long time.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, I just look at every day with him through a new lens. Like today, I'm going to learn something new about this man that I didn't know yesterday. And it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be like, oh, you do this? Oh, why your eye twitch when you do this? Why this? Why, you know, like any little thing. And it'd be like the smallest things for me. And I'm not saying that all marriages are like that, or like ours. But for me, personally, I feel like I know what I've been through with him, and he knows what he's been through with me. So regardless of whatever the situation is, I'm always gonna go for him, and he's always gonna go for me.
Yo, Myrtle, keep it a buck. Has it ever been a time where you just wanted to smash a video game system over his head?
Oh, of course, all the time. I don't walk
Why
by.
gotta be a video
I
game
don't walk
system
by the
specifically?
I'm not gonna miss it because the PS5 is coming out right around the corner, so he gonna be good. But I don't do that because I love him so much, and I know that is his way of de-stressing, and so I'm not gonna do that to him.
Hold on, I want to tap on this real quick. And Mick, you might, Mick, I know we can talk about this. Hold on. Did y'all see the video of the girl who set the dude car on fire?
Oh yeah, I did a reaction video to it. That was hilarious.
All right, so
I didn't see that.
You ain't see that, Mick?
I haven't seen.
Oh my God, this is a video of this girl who smashed into a window, set his car. I mean, we've all heard about that before. But my thing is this, yo. Why do women always go after the sentimental shit, yo? Like, why the car? Like, you know what I mean?
Because we gotta hit.
They know we let a car.
No, because we gotta hit you guys where it hurts the most.
But listen, here's the problem with not thinking logically. First of all, she got him a new car because she's on camera. So when he reports it to the insurance, they're going to see what happened on camera. Huh?
She got caught already.
They caught her?
Yeah, they locked up.
Oh,
yeah, she got locked up.
It's over. It's over.
No.
So he's going to get a new car. She's going to get time in jail. And not to mention, when she put the joint in, it blew up right in her face. Like, stupid. So,
no, but
yeah.
Well, we gotta hit you guys where it hurts the most.
Stupid.
We know that, your cars, your video games, your sneakers, whatever, those hold sentimental values for you since childhood. So we're going to abuse and use those items against you when you guys fuck up.
Is that worth going to jail for? Because she's in jail now.
Well, I'm not taking it to that extreme, but I've been.
What extreme? She's in jail.
I've heard Jordans before.
Hey yo, Mick, why the car, man? What did the car do to her, man? Why the car?
I mean, listen.
I mean, maybe that's where he was, taking the picture. Maybe that's where all the action was going on with the bitches. It was in the goddamn Jeep Cherokee. It was that Grand
the car
Cherokee.
Is the most.
That was the cause of all of her issues with him.
She's going on. She felt
no,
that.
but as the only female here, I have to defend my girls. I have to defend my women.
The reason why
y'all not about to take a check in the car. She probably even went half on with him for the car.
No, let her go. Let her go off now. Let her go off. Let her get her rounds off.
Walk like that, then that means that she doesn't care. She doesn't care. I don't care if I bought you everything in your closet. I will make sure that you leave out of here naked.
Listen.
Right.
Wow.
You leave out of here naked.
Listen, what you got me is now mine. All right?
Exactly.
You ain't got no right to be setting my shit on fire, yo.
For real? Like what?
Wow.
If anything,
that's crazy.
If anything set me on fire, leave the car alone. The car didn't do nothing to you, yo.
No, but if I give him a kidney, if I want to be a total asshole and divorce him, I'm taking my kidney back.
Oh no, you have to take that one in blood, literally.
Okay.
You're gonna have to knuckle up for that one.
No, if I want to be an asshole, I'm taking my kidney back.
She's don't.
Hey yo, Mick, you ever had something? You ever had bleach water on your clothes? Anything, man?
No.
No, he's asking Mick.
Nah. She listen, man. Listen,
she's Haitian, so you know she's super crazy.
Yeah, clearly.
No
listen,
lie
I was out here
right
in the
there.
streets, but what I learned, dealing with someone like my very first girlfriend, she tried to throw hot oil on me. And ever since that incident, I always was more understanding of females and women that I've dealt with. And I tried to never, ever, ever, ever end anything on a bad note or have any, bad blood or
I'm with you on
burn
that.
any bridges, because again, at that time, from the age of 18 to about 32, you know, we're still growing, we're still getting older, we're still learning about
running around
ourselves.
slinging dick.
So
that's what we
a
doing.
lot of the women we was out here wilding, but we don't know we don't know who we are gonna be as men when we get older, and we don't know who these women are gonna be when they get older. They may be people that are in a position of power and vice versa, and you just never know. Like you never.
But here's the thing, right?
Ever know.
Not to cut you off, Mick. I feel like a lot of times women try to rush that process.
Oh yeah,
because we've matured a little bit.
The process of us getting to that point to where we finally say, okay, now I'm willing to settle down.
All right, but we've already been at that stage already. We're waiting for you to catch up.
Okay,
that's the problem. And some of you men take a little bit longer.
No, I respect it. I want to get Skotch. Skotch, did you see that video of that girl who set that dude car on fire?
She set a dude car on fire.
Yeah, it was a viral video going around. It went viral. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I did not see that.
Okay. All right. Let's get back. Now that we got Skotch back, let's get back into Skotch. We was just talking about the tweets about what you think Kanye was wrong.
The last thing I heard was Mickey saying you got to keep that off the net. You know.
Right. What do you think about him airing out his marriage on Twitter?
I look at it two ways. I don't agree with it as a man.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the lifestyle and look at the business that he's in and look at who he's married to. This is what they do. They have a whole television show about their lives. This is how they get it. You know, so without a little controversy, you know, when you listen to entertainers, you got to really listen to them because it's just like the great historians over time. They leave you little Easter eggs. And Kanye said a long time ago, everybody feel a way about Ye, well, at least they feel something. That should have let us know where he comes from. In the entertainment industry, no publicity is bad publicity.
All right, but this is what we'll do is we got Eliza Queen on. Hey, Queen.
Sorry that I'm late. Long day.
What's going on?
Hello.
Bless.
Did he break the man code when he dropped Meek name?
I mean,
yeah.
If it's true, you know, the thing about it is when it's true, you know who we dealing with, the Gemini. I just take people for who they are. Once I got enough information,
I'm just saying, but listen, did he break the bro code when he name dropped?
First of all, if that's his man, he should have kept that low. Like that ain't for the world to be knowing. Like,
listen, you see my wife, you're not my man. Let's just get that clear. You see with my wife, you're not my man no more. You know what I'm saying? That pretty much.
But Meek said it's a lie though.
I mean, you know why? Now think about it. If you did, would you get any brownie points for saying I did? Meek already looking crazy out in the streets.
That's true.
So you can't go on top of that, on top of everything that you looking. This is what I'm saying. What we got to remember about all of this is it's entertainment. So even with the truth or the reality that's in it, it's always going to be spun for entertainment. Like Mickey was alluding to earlier, Will and Jada, right? The people have known that Will and Jada have had turmoil in their relationship for years now. That's not anything new. But
why do we act like it's news when they are human? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
the media,
no marriage is.
You know what?
Yeah.
Because we hold a lot of celebrities to a higher standard. We look at them as icons. We call them icons. We call them role models. We call them all this and that. But in all actuality, we have to stop doing that because then we're setting ourselves up for disappointment when they fuck up.
Let me get Eliza in here. I'm sorry, Mick. Let me just get Eliza in real quick. Do you think Kanye was wrong for airing out his marriage on Twitter?
I think by normal standards, but at the end of the day, you know, he's bipolar, so I can't really judge him the same way that I would judge. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
You are one understanding woman. I will give you that. You're very understanding. Like she's like, yo, listen, he was fucked up, but he's crazy, so I get it. But I want to ask Mick too. Mick, you think the name dropping? How do you feel about the Meek name dropping?
I mean, I think I'm gonna have to, you know, I'm gonna have to agree with Scott on that one, man. Like, you know, if it, you know, when you're married, you're basically one person. It's one flesh, man. So it's like, if he felt the way about it, you know, him putting that out there, you know, maybe him putting it out there is a little wild. Now that I think about it, it's like that was unnecessary. You know, now that I think about it, that might have been unnecessary.
I'm not saying it's not wild. You absolutely, it's a wild thing to do, but we got to just remember what the times we're in. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're a unique group together right now. We're able to live with a code that we came up with. This technology is not our technology. This is
so are you saying the man code doesn't exist anymore?
Do I have to say it? We watch it live.
I mean, that's what you're saying. You're saying the man code doesn't exist
real time every day on the internet. The internet is the code. That's the code.
Right.
So the code is whatever you put up there, however you want to be seen, whatever you want people to know. That's the code. Like, look at our youth. They have beef with each other, never meet each other, but got beef because of Instagram and Twitter. Man, like, I had two little cousins who had beef with some kid, and I was like, "Yo, what's the beef about?" They're like, "Nah, he be jacking my swag on IG." I'm like, "Swag on IG? Like, sit down, you know." But again,
right.
Like, when I was a little younger, and I said like, "Oh, they jacking my swag on MySpace, or they jacking my swag on," you know what I'm saying? You just gotta kind of like. I've been just trying to be more understanding. That's been my new thing for 2020. Like.
I got you.
But we can't be too understanding to where we let sucker shit slide. Like, I think that's the issue.
Understanding doesn't mean acceptance. It just means, you know, it's just like, I'm not gonna stand in the rain when it's raining, but I understand the clouds are coming. I understand what's happening.
I want to ask the two ladies this, and we'll start with Myrtle. As a woman, if your wife's in at home, and you see your husband going on this Twitter rant, what is your thoughts?
Well, look at who I'm married to. So I've had to pull him to the side.
You've seen this show before.
No, but I've seen this before. I've had to call him, whether he's at work and he's going off at work. I've had to call him and be like, okay, what's the situation? Explain it to me. So I can know whether or not I need to step in and maybe say something to that person so that you can calm down, so you're not out here looking crazy. Because whatever you do reflects badly on me. Because now people are going to be like, yo, what's up with your husband? Your husband over here wilding, your husband saying this, your husband saying that. And I know what kind of image he's trying to have. And I can't have him out there looking crazy.
Hold on, we can't hear you. Yeah. Hold on, we can't hear you. Siren
going in and out, Myrtle.
Yeah. I said I can't have him out there looking crazy.
Right.
So I'm gonna do my best to calm the situation down.
But is it all right? Hold on, let me get Eliza, and then I'm gonna ask both of y'all another question. Eliza, what's your thoughts if you sitting at home and you watching your husband going off on Twitter like this?
I'm a very private person. I don't do that myself, and I feel like personal stuff handled in real life, not on the internet. So I have a problem with that, especially because I feel like he's representing me as well, and maybe sharing stuff that I don't necessarily address it with him in real life.
I got you. Is it a thing where it's like publicly you publicly it might be devices, but I mean privately it might be devices. Publicly it's stand by your man no matter what.
Yeah. Because I've honestly had conversations with him about certain things that he's done. I chewed him out in private, but in public, I am riding until the end.
Okay, what do you think, Eliza?
I mean, at the end of the day, you're a unit, you're a team. So I don't feel like, even if you do have a problem with it, I feel like that's personal. That's something you should share with him. So even if you're unhappy with it, I don't feel like you chastise him in public. I don't feel you further embarrass him or make him feel uncomfortable. He will get the repercussions of his actions. I'm not going to add to that. I'll just support him because that's what I signed up to do when I got into a relationship or marriage. And then we'll have our conversation in public. In private.
But it's interesting, going back to what you were saying about, putting celebrities on too much of a pedestal, I think that's where a lot of people make a mistake to begin with. You're comparing your relationship that make a living off of being in public. So you're never gonna add up. What they do is never gonna make sense to us because we don't live like that. We don't have a camera following us around all day. I can't imagine. At the same time, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate through the whole night. I can't imagine.
No. Let's get it. No. I'm with you. Let's get into the thicker things now. Let's play the clip, Mercy, and then we're gonna get into that.
All right, cool.
But I think I think even playing the clip is relevant to his state of mind. He's constantly got people camera in his face that after a while. But Scotch, at the rally, he's speaking in how he feel it. But this is also a result of weeks of preparation, weeks of looking out on the land, seeing what's going on, all the other stuff that's happening, rappers getting killed. You know what I'm saying? He's a cerebral person. So I see Kanye as the person who probably sits behind his computer and is on Twitter.
But hold on. But Scott, you did say, what if he had a point?
No, he definitely had a point.
Hold on. That's what you said on Twitter, right? I'm
saying the way he delivers it is you can tell he's bothered by things. He gets easily
I agree.
frustrated.
Sorry, I agree there.
When he talks, you're gonna see it. He feels what he's saying so much. You know what I mean? Like right or wrong.
Hold on. All right, so let's play. We're gonna play it in its full context. We're not just gonna snip it to the Harriet Tubman part. We're gonna play it in its full context. Let's get it.
All right. I'm gonna play like a good 2 or 3 seconds. Just let me know if everybody hears it.
Okay. All right.
That's ever been said out loud is the.
We can hear it.
Okay.
I hear it.
Idea that if Kanye West runs for president, I'm gonna split the black votes. This reminded me, what was Samuel L. Jackson's character in Django? So that's a Stephen move. When Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people. The National Basketball Association is not owned by any blacks. Universal Music is not owned by any blacks. Any celebrity that you see talking is not the real power. Because the real power that I'm putting my mind on the life that you dare to speak about, you don't see them. You don't see the real power. You don't know who's putting the internet in your school just to track you. You don't know who's targeting you. Black woman in between the ages of 12 to 21 that follows this person in order to buy this product. You don't know who's the head of the boards. In risk or no risk of losing whatever deal possible, I am not on the board at Adidas. I am not on the board at Gap. And that has to change today.
All right, Mercy, we can cut it right here. All right, hold on. All right.
I'm not gonna hold you.
No, hold on. I'm gonna start here. Are black people free today?
No.
Yes, we are. We're free. We're not freed. Oh, we're free like a motherfucker. But we ain't freed.
Okay,
They just took the shackles off.
Mick, what you think?
Oh man, we free now.
That's all. Yo, Eliza, what you think? We free or not free today?
Oh, me?
No, Eliza not here?
Eliza cut out for some reason.
All right.
That's why.
Okay, and you know what? I don't want to speak for anybody here, so I'm gonna ask everybody individually, what did they take from that? Let's start with Myrtle and No Mercy.
Well, see, initially, I did think that it was just like in my mind, it's like, why are you talking about this Harriet Tubman shit when this is a presidential campaign rally? I didn't think there was an actual objective or real like meaning to it. But after watching the clip, I'm taking it as he's basically saying like he wants to put Black people in more positions of power. He doesn't want the end goal of Black people's freedom to be going off and still working for the white man. He wants Black people to actually try to get some ownership somewhere. Something that ends at the Black head. Like, you understand?
What did you say from that, Myrtle?
And being that this is the first time I'm seeing this whole clip, I just want to Harriet Tubman, that little, because that's what everyone focused on.
That's why it was very important for it to be played in its entire context.
So now when I've seen it, I'm like, okay, he's making sense. Maybe he shouldn't have said what he said about Harriet Tubman because of the kind of, popularity that she has and what she did for the Black community. But he's making a lot of sense because I've always said that. I've always believed that, Black people should be sitting on the boards of all these major companies that they are supporting.
All right, I'm gonna get into it. What did you take from that, Mick?
Yo, before I even start, this whole conversation with us is stemming from my brother Skotch. You know what I'm saying? And I just want it to be known that that's my brother. That's my brother, and I love him. So, I don't. Sometimes words can be misconstrued.
Absolutely.
On Twitter, and I want to make sure that he understands that. There was.
But that's why this was important to do this, because I seen that
back and forth.
Ain't nothing ever gonna change that. No tweets, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? We done been seen too many different times together. Right. So it's just opinions here. That's all.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Right. So with that being said, when I first initially saw the Harriet Tubman clip, it was just like. All right, come on, man. Come on, yeah. What are you talking about right now, bro? She actually did free slaves, I saw more of the context of the clip, I would say like an hour or two later. And, I would agree with No Mercy and his wife. However, I'm not sure how much power, he would be able to have as the president, putting Black people in power at places where we spend money. That's one. And two, my final thought, I also feel that this rant that he went on, or speech, if you guys want to call it a speech, the speech that he made, I feel like it was more of from a place of frustration that he's dealt with from the time that he was on the radio interview with Sway. And it's gotten to a boiling point where he's, and this is just my personal opinion, he's using, the presidential, his presidential campaign nomination, trying to, go ahead with this to bring more attention and more ears to it and more eyes to it because of what's happening with the cultural shift of companies using their advertisement visibility to have more inclusion of Black people within their narrative of the George Floyd situation and scenario. So in conclusion, I would just say, it's just yay being yay. What
did you take from that, Skotch?
First thing, he says to you, and this is why it's important to watch things in their context. He says, I'm not telling you guys I'm not quieting your voices. I just haven't spent enough time getting what I want to say eloquent enough yet. I already told you I don't have this together, right? Because I'm an English major. So I'm very serious about communications major, English major. So I'm watching body language. I'm watching what's being said, how it's being said. He jumped into the Harriet Tubman thing as a quick thought. You could see it. He wasn't even initially going there. But as Mick alluded to, and as we know, he's so passionate. When he's going, he don't have no filters. He just he's hoping that whoever hears it is able to comprehend it in the way that he does. Then you factor in the fact that he's a superstar, and millions of people listen to your music, you get disillusioned. You think that automatically, because they love your music, it's automatically going to translate to your political views and how you speak. It doesn't add up. So I see where the disconnect was. But what I did enjoy about it was that he hits and he talks about some major points. And I think another thing that harms his message is that a lot of times, like Mick alluded to, it seems convoluted in the way that he's using his fame as a sounding board, or he's using the 2020 presidential campaign as a sounding board for a lot of his personal gripes with specific industries. I was at the MSG show when he called out Mark Parker from Nike, when he bigged up Marc Jacobs. You know,
I was there.
This is not an abnormal thing. This is not out of the ordinary for him. But to the point of the Harriet Tubman thing, I think what he was trying to explain to people, which, one more time, your name, I always forget your name, love.
Martel.
What Martel alluded to earlier was that people, first of all, don't know much about that era of American history as it stands, right?
All right, well, so Scott, I see where you're going. So let me, because I was going to segue to my next question. So before you even go there, did Harriet Tubman free the slaves?
This is the thing. You're saying Harriet Tubman freed slaves. Okay. When you're free, where you go is as important to your journey as where you left. So when she took these slaves, where did she take them? That's the first question.
She took them to the north.
Okay. So what was going on in the north?
Indentured servitude. It was slavery in the north. They called it indentured servitude in the north.
Actually, indentured servitude already happened. It was happening while the slaves were there. The first indentured servitude.
Because indentured servitude was a paid for service.
Hold on. Indentured servitude was slavery to the queen. So the first people that came over on boats here were indentured servants to the queen. They were white, they were black, they were criminals who were trying to work off their debt and in return get their freedom. That's what happens in indentured servitude. You work off your time, basically. Then there was a group of people that were considered slaves, right? This is the thing. We can just skip right to the Reconstruction era to have a better understanding of where did she take them from and what did she take them to. The Reconstruction era was the period where we probably as black.
But hold on, Scott. Not to cut you off, Scott. There's a couple of things you can't skip over though, because we got to get to the middle passage first, right?
No, this is what I'm saying. To understand to understand the part that Kanye's saying, you don't got to go through all of that, because again, as my journey that I've been educating myself, there's a lot of holes in a lot of different stories. But I'm not here to really like help. I don't want to take up too much time laying all that. No. I just want to
talk, my nigga. I want to hear you talk. Go ahead, talk.
There's a lot of holes in the slavery story to begin with.
All right, so when you were, and let me ask everybody before we even get to that.
Let me just finish this point.
All right, go ahead.
Just that's what I'm saying. If you focus on the Reconstruction era, you realize that as much as there was dissension amongst the two sides in the Civil War, it was called a Civil War for a reason, because initially their battle wasn't about them beefing with each other. Their battle was about how we gonna control these brown people out on this land. What we gonna do with them?
But the Civil War didn't have nothing to do with black people.
It had everything to do with the future.
No, it didn't have nothing to do with black people. It had to do everything with white people trying to figure out how they were going to dominate this country.
So that has something to do with black people. So hold on, let me finish the point, brother.
Go ahead.
The beef was never with each other. The beef was, we're moving into an industrial age, right? The world is changing. We want to be a superpower. We could either keep beating these people and keep them aware of what's going on, because when we're in danger, it keeps our spider senses moving a lot better. But when we're docile, ironically, like a lot of us are today, we're not aware to where the enemy's at. So the union's like, look, let's treat these niggas with a little more kindness, and then we can work them harder and we'll be the middlemen. The people down south was like, fuck that. We can just leave shit the way it is. Why would we change it to begin with, right? So I think what Kanye was alluding to, just to wrap this up, was, yes, she freed slaves from one captor, but she was delivering them to a new captor. And the slaves, nor Harriet Tubman, were aware of what was coming. And nobody knew that because, like I said, in the Reconstruction era, that's where 40 Acres and a Mule comes from. That's where we had guys like John R. Fox, who was on the House of Representatives in Mississippi, the place in Mississippi where they told us that blacks weren't successful, blacks weren't doing anything. He's literally running the House of Representatives. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole part of American history that's left out for this purpose, for us not to feel empowered, for us not to feel like we have a stake in this, for us to feel like our only purpose is to get paid reparations for slavery, not for us to get back what we built. Black Wall Street wasn't built in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? The war ended in the 1860s. No. That means them people been getting money for a long time. Mm-hmm. That ain't new money. You don't get 3 banks, airports, and all of that in a 5-year period. Like, come on. So that's what I think he messed up at. He was giving a short-sighted answer to a problem and an issue that needs more context, a lot more context, way more context than
So Mick, did Harriet Tubman free the slave?
Yes. Short answer, yes. She freed some slaves. She freed some slaves. She freed some slaves, yes.
Okay. Mertel No Mercy. Did Harriet Tubman free the slaves?
Well, being that Skotch just re-educated me, I just feel like maybe there's a lot more research that needs to be done.
Yes. For him included. It's not just us, it's him. He needs to have better.
Yeah, but you have to also understand what our educational system has done to the Black community. We don't know half the stuff that we're supposed to know. We only know this when we're really supposed to know this, which is kind of crazy. All we know is that Harriet Tubman was in charge of the Underground Railroad. He had helped people along the way. Went back and forth. We don't know what happened to them afterwards. We don't know where. We don't even know what happened to her. Everything that happened to her afterwards. So we need to do that. We need to do that research. I don't know who's going to do it, but that needs to be done so that we can get a clearer understanding as to what our history really is in this country.
What do you think, Mercy?
It depends on what your idea of free is, because when you look at her taking the slaves from one captor and then bringing them to the North, it's like the lesser of two evils. Right. You know, it's still what was going on in the North was still a form of slavery. It's making you feel different because you're like, okay, we're not shackled, we're not in the blazing hot sun picking cotton. But at the end of the day, we're still Black people feeding a white man's agenda. We're still
all right. This is what I'm gonna say. What Harriet Tubman did was monumental as a Black woman, and we will never diminish that. There's nothing anybody can say to ever diminish what that woman did for her people. Period. You know what I mean? Now listen. What was going on in the South and what's going on in the North obviously was similar, but not the same.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Do you remember when Martin Luther King Jr. said racism in the North is way worse than the racism in the South because in the North, they smile in your face. At least in the South, you know who your enemy is. That's why the North, that's why he went to Chicago and lived in them slums and them tenements in the months. And notice when he start talking like that, he start becoming an enemy. When he start talking about poor people and he start talking about poverty, he starts talking about the money. See, as long as you're talking about color, they don't like you begging for your freedom when it's race. When you start getting economically, it's funny. Right before I got on with y'all, I'm having a conversation with my homeboy, and we was talking about the Kanye thing. And I say, you know what's funny? They're giving out SBAs right now. How many brothers you think is saving that to buy property in the next 2 years or buy a company? How many brothers you think is getting this SBA money instead of going and buying rosé bottles that you can't find anywhere?
No. But it's a little deeper than that, because how far can that money go for a lot of niggas when they still got bills and they still got a lot of shit to pay for? A lot of these niggas got kids. Like, how far you think that money gonna go?
Hold on. First of all, you're doing that already, right?
Right.
That goes without saying.
Right.
With no job though. What if you jobless? So a lot of people out of work right now.
So you take that, again, regardless of the fact, if you out of work, that means you should be learning how to work for yourself. That means you should never find yourself in another position.
No, Scott.
Listen, this is what Kanye's trying to tell us. This is what he's trying to tell us, essentially.
Okay, they gave niggas $1,200 for 4 months.
No, I'm not talking about, hold on. I'm not talking about.
No, I'm going to get there. Trust me, I'm going to get to the PPP, EIDL, SBA, all that.
Every letter of the alphabet.
I'm starting it. They gave niggas $1,200 for 4 months. A lot of people are out of work right now, yo.
Right.
You still got your bills.
Right.
Period. You still got your kids. You still, if you got a wife, you still got your wife.
So is that an excuse to not get the free money?
No, of course, go get it, my nigga. Exactly. Of course. But what I'm saying is, shit got to be taken care of first before you get to the point of saying, yo, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
The mentality is what it is. This is what Kanye's preaching. You see this mentality? We have this slave mentality. I got to take care of the kids. You don't think these crackers got to take care of their kids too? You don't think they got to take care of their kids?
Look at the position they doing it from.
But that's the point. You don't just get in that position. You have to work. You have to do something. And like I said, I'm watching these brothers scam and scheme their way into more rosé bottles than more land. That makes absolutely no sense to me. You want to have a good night in the projects. Y'all want to open 150 bottles with your SBA loan instead of holding that 10 G's. In a minute, the real estate market is going to be insane, like you said, because everybody's hurting. So it's going to be.
You saw my dumb niggas. My fault. I know you saw my dumb niggas.
I'm just saying, but this is who Kanye. This is the people that are on the internet responding to Kanye, not understanding Kanye. The same ones who should actually be taking a step back and being like, wait a minute, we do watch the NBA, don't we?
No. But we can't. It's hard to. Sometimes I get what you're saying. It's not about what you're saying. It's how you're saying it. But it's hard to understand non-facts. Like you're saying things that simply aren't factual. You understand what I'm saying? Now listen, there's no secret.
Nobody owns the NBA. Nobody black owns any teams in the NBA.
No, that's a fact. I mean, he signed the Universal Records. I mean, let's keep it a buck. But okay.
But how real is he to be a guy signed Universal Records to say, hey?
But you can't be the sheep. Like you can't be the pot calling the kettle black, my nigga. You signed to Universal. Let's not skip over that part.
I mean, you can do that. Why can't you?
Oh, come on. Yo.
We on Zoom. That's not ours. Talking about the same things that we're complaining about. So this is what I'm saying is Black Mirror. This is the world we live in. You know what I'm saying? If nobody says nothing, then nothing changes.
No. I get the point he was trying to connect with the whole Harriet Tubman thing. I get that point. But we cannot make a statement about somebody who did what they could with what they had at the time, who did the best they could with what they had. We cannot take that today and say, okay, well, she ain't do shit. We can't do that.
She didn't do shit. He just said she didn't really free them.
Right.
And I mean,
hold on, wait. Listen. Scotch, listen, man. You my guy, man. But check this out, man. When I was on tour and I drove through, I want to say it was Alabama. I drove through Alabama.
I went to college and
we were going to,
just for the record.
Shout out to Birmingham.
Miles College.
We were going, I think we were going to Mississippi.
Okay.
And we drove through this patch where there was, and it was hot outside. And we drove through a cotton field. Bruh, this cotton field literally had to be 3 miles long. Had to be. It just kept going and going and going. We saw exit, it just was there. It was cotton. So in my mind, right? And I'm just, I understand what everybody's talking about, the mental space of what slavery did after she freed the slaves physically, right? But we cannot negate the physical torment, the psychological trauma, the all of these things that happen when these Africans and African Americans were slaves. Like they were literal slaves that could not do anything. They could not own anything. They couldn't speak out of turn. They couldn't do anything.
Can I ask you one question?
I feel like
ask you one question.
We can't wait. Like, let me finish my point. We can't, like, I feel like us being, we are intellectual Black people in this time. We study history. We can look back and we can assess different things and pick apart different things and get an understanding of why things happen. And we can also get some discernment on why things were the way that they were. But we will never, ever physically and be able to endure or even comprehend some of the atrocities that our people experienced during time, because that time it can't even, it doesn't even register in our heads, because we weren't even because we're all 30-year-old, 40-year-old, we weren't even around for the 60s, 70s, where there was like crazy segregation. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't want to continue to devalue slavery here, right? Like, yes, I completely agree that we are mentally bound and financially broken, but I don't want us to stray away from the fact of what really was happening.
And you want to know something?
Slavery, and yes, she freed those people from that prison. Yes, go ahead, brother.
Neither do the oppressors want you to forget it. Now, here's where I'm gonna give a different.
No, he didn't say nothing about anybody forgetting.
But you gotta let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let him finish.
There's a perspective. They don't want you to forget, because just what I was alluding to earlier and what I was saying with the Sister Myrtle, they want you moving from a position of slavery mentality. They don't want you to forget. Same way they don't want you to forget 9/11, but somehow everybody seems to think the same people that don't want you to forget 9/11 are the same people that has something to do with 9/11, right? So,
right, correct.
We keep you moving your spirit, your energy from a position of I was a slave. How does Black Wall Street and all of this exist at the same time? Again, I'm just doing the knowledge. I'm just doing the math. I do the history. There's a brother named Dan Calloway, who's one of my favorite people right now. Like, the whole story is told in reverse. The whole story is told backwards. You said something important, Mick. We could never fathom, and they know that. So they tell you stories that are so unimaginable that you internalize these and you move around with these and you feel like, oh, my family was broken down and I came from this. You never come from. We had Black Wall Streets. We were representatives. We were the leads of the House of Representatives in Mississippi. The same place that you was driving to. You don't know nothing about John R. Factz. Why? Because they would rather you know more about Harriet Tubman freeing slaves than they would want you to know about John R. Factz, who might be your actual ancestor, who was in Mississippi teaching people how to have a government. That's all I'm saying is.
I'm with you. I'm definitely shout out to John R. Factz, because that brother stayed in the South and still fought for the Black people.
This is what I'm saying. Every story can't always be about how we had to come up from somebody's thumb. We need to start understanding and educating ourselves in the fact that we taught all of this shit that's existing right now. Everything from government to finance to agriculture to everything started with us.
But when you make a powerful statement such as Harriet Tubman never really freed the slaves, you saying some shit, my nigga.
Yes, because you're saying some shit because, again, all of us that first heard that clip, we did not see the entire interview. They put that one clip on there, and them same people that's mad at Nick Cannon, the same people that made sure you saw that clip so that you could be mad at your brother, and automatically, no matter what else he said, click, it's turned off. We're a cult of personality people. We like how people look. We like how people sound.
Nick Cannon's a different story to me.
Yeah, I want to get into a little bit of Nick Cannon too. Let me just get Alonzo, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So let me get you in here a little bit since you back now. Did Harriet Tubman free the slaves?
She did free the slaves, but you know, the thing about it is I really feel like we're holding Kanye to such a high standard for somebody who is bipolar. At the end of the day, he's a celebrity and his voice is important. So it's definitely important that he's, you know, not making statements like that. But when people, I mean, one of the symptoms of having that bipolar disorder is that you might have something to say, but you can't express it coherently. It's like the speed at which you can speak and the speed at which you can think is not matching. So I feel like he's a smart man, he's a genius, he's a billionaire. Of course he knows that she technically freed the slaves, but I do think that he was probably more leaning towards the, you know, the point that, you know, we were free, but not really free. The same way we think about modern day slavery, like, I don't think he literally meant it the way that it came out. And that's the problem. The fact is, he's not taking his medication. So the point is, we know that if Kanye's on any platform, he's going to say some stuff that's outlandish, regardless of what his intentions are, or regardless of what I believe the real message is, because he's having manic episodes.
What if when he takes the meds off, he tells the truth?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Let me ask Skotch this real quick. Skotch, is working for somebody in slavery the same thing?
It depends on the type of work you're doing. If you're getting paid a penny on your dollar, then yeah, it's slavery. So when we put on
Mick, is working for somebody in slavery the same thing?
No, that's debatable, man. Like that's debatable. It's there's too many variables that go into that.
Working for somebody meaning you get paid a wage for your work in slavery. Like, are they the same thing?
No, it's not the same thing. No.
It's Hell and Mercy. Is working for somebody in slavery the same thing?
Nah.
Well, I feel like it is. And wait, and let me.
Go ahead, expound on it. Go ahead.
Let me explain. Because if you don't show up to work, you're not going to get paid, right? You're not going to be able to provide a roof over your head. You're not going to be able to eat. You're not going to be able to clothe yourself.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. She making such a good point right now. That is kind of like reverse slavery.
So now, because you cannot do those things, those necessities that are needed as a human being, you are in essence enslaved by that dollar that the person is giving you, because you cannot go anywhere. Now, there are different types of enslavement depending on where you go, but you're still dependent on that money to survive.
Okay.
Slaves were dependent upon doing the proper work so that they still survive to be with their families on the next day on the same plantation.
Okay. You got to get close to the mic again. You going out?
No, but I said that it's the same way that our ancestors, unfortunately, they were, they did what they had to do on the plantation to make sure that they survived for their families.
I got you. Okay, Eliza, is work for somebody in slavery the same thing?
I don't think I could say it any better than she just did. I mean, I agree. I think that, technically no, but you can be a slave to a system. You can be a slave to a way of life. You can be a slave to, a certain type of programming. So to an extent, I don't really think there's a clear yes or no answer. I think it goes from one extent to the other.
All right, Skotch. Let me ask you this, Skotch. Let me see if we can agree on this. Slavery in the South and indentured servitude in the North. Are they a bit different or are they still the same?
Again, the North was unionized. It wasn't indentured servitude. It was a union, which is keeping people from being able to earn what they're supposed to earn. That's all a union is. It's somebody taking a cut. So the real question was sharecropping the same as slavery? Yes, it was the same as slavery. Of course it was the same as slavery.
So picking cotton by force and picking cotton for money is the same thing.
Because essentially someone's telling you, look, you could try to go out in the field and make your own money, or you can just stay here and work for me. And I'll take care of it. I'll bank your money for you. I'll take the taxes for you. I'll do all of that. I mean, essentially, do you have the freedom to make your own decisions over what you want? with your finances and what you're trying to do. Shit, half the rich famous people are slaves because when they try to buy something, they still have to be approved. Just because you got the money don't mean you can spend the money. I've seen it a lot of times. LeBron tried to buy rice.
Don't even mean that the money's really there.
LeBron tried to buy rice. What they told him? He didn't have the money.
Yeah.
He got the money. Nobody got the money.
But I you know, one of the key sticking points to you and Mick's argument, and trust me, I was in tune. I was reading it intently when y'all two was going back and forth. One of the key points in Mick's argument was the fact that she did something that nobody else was willing to do at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Or did she do something that only one story got told?
Hold on. Let me ask Mick, okay? I want to speak for Mick. Am I correct in that, Mick? You on mute. You on mute.
You muted.
Sorry about that. I'm cooking, so I didn't want the fan.
Yeah, it's all good. I said one of the key sticking points of your. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard what you said. What I said, that was the one thing that I agreed with Skotch on, right? I believe that there were men and probably other women that freed slaves and took people to different parts of the country and freed them, and maybe they did it consistently, or maybe they did it one time, or they just freed families. I probably don't know of anybody who did it, but I do believe that happened. That was something that I agree with. But what I will say is that in that time and in that specific area, in that space that she was in, the only one that was willing to do it.
Right, and I thought that was a very key sticking point to what Mick was saying. Like, she was the one who said, yo, listen, fuck this shit. Like Mercy said, I got a lesser of two evils for us. We could do this shit by force, or we could go somewhere and do it by choice.
Remember what Kanye said? Steven. How do we know she wasn't a Steven?
So what do you think? So you think she was a backwards coon? You think she was a backwards coon?
No.
Huh?
You think she was a backwards coon? That's what you're saying.
No, I don't say backwards coon. Not in the Steven sense, but again, the whole thing was, first of all, we got to keep first. This is the first thing I always try to be clear on before I talk about history at all. I always try to remember that history is told and written by the victors, and to the victors go the spoils. So however they want the story to go is how the story is. That's the first part you got to remember. So if they want you fascinated with Harriet Tubman, I wouldn't even put it past them to get Kanye to say this so that it emboldens our support for a Harriet Tubman. Because they was trying to put on a $20 bill just not too long ago. Why her? Why this person? Why of all?
No. Why not her?
No, I'm not saying why not her.
Okay.
It's not to answer the question with a question. I'm asking why.
You know what I've always seen happen in the Black community? And it hasn't happened in a while because now, you know, we're all able to eat somehow. But it's always like that one person that they always put on that one pedestal for us to admire. Like, remember, it was always Denzel Washington. It was always Denzel this, Denzel that, Halle Berry this, Halle Berry that. But now you got a whole bunch of other people that are now getting their pedestals. So for that period of time, Harriet Tubman, they just put her on that pedestal because they could.
Or because
hold on. What you saying? They put Harriet Tubman on that pedestal?
Yeah, she was put on the pedestal, but there could have been other people with their own underground railroads, but they chose to focus on her for a specific reason that we may not know.
And that's my point, is like, we always have to remember the same people that's feeding us are the same people that want to keep us. It's lasted this long for a reason.
My fault, y'all. Somebody call me. Hold on. We not doing that, Murtel. We not doing that. That's not what we doing here today. No.
She made a valid point.
No, we not doing that.
No, I'm not. Again, I'm not taking anything away. The same way I'm not taking anything away from Denzel. I'm just saying that, okay, we have Denzel. We have Michael B. Jordan now. We have Chadwick Boseman. We have all these other people. You have to also know that it's not just what did Samuel L. Jackson say to that white person when he did that interview? He said, not all Black people look alike.
Right.
It's not all black people. He's not speaking.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Mercy is an amazing husband because he don't never check his wife. He just sit there.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Martel, I'm with you, Martel. You want to know why? Because you brought an interesting point. It's a social construct to put someone in front, elevate them, and then see who's against it. And then you isolate them. You see who's not going to fall into the program. We say, hey, Denzel's the most handsome man, right? So everybody says Denzel's the most handsome man. The 1-2 people that say, I think this guy's just as fine. Oh, you guys are crazy. You're out of here. What's wrong with you? Get the fuck out. We're gonna put you guys to the side, you know? And that is the culture today, period. So this narrative, if someone had an ulterior motive, works perfect today. We're able to separate who's gonna follow, who's gonna follow in step, who's not gonna ask any questions, because you only get answers by asking questions. So am I not allowed to ask the question, well, since you guys want me to believe in Harriet Tubman, can you give me some background and context on the whole story? Where did she take them from? Who did she take them to? Why did you guys pick Harriet Tubman? Is there anybody else? And that's not to, like you said, not to take anything away from her, but I'd be foolish with all the knowledge that I have now about the history of the world and how things have been constructed to not ask the question. I'm
with you on that. I'm with you on that, but we cannot. One thing I'm sorry, Marcel, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
What I was saying is like it's almost alluding to.
I can't hear you, Mercy.
Speak up a little bit, brother.
All right, y'all can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, yeah. What I was saying was that it's almost alluding to that. Not that she was working for the white man, but in a way they gave her that position, and it's like she's feeding their narrative.
No, we're not doing that either. We're not doing that. No, we're not doing that.
I think what we're saying is
that they were trying to allude to. Almost. It's almost saying like she was working for them damn near.
Right. So y'all saying that Harriet Tubman may have been a covert agent for the white man?
No, what I'm saying is go ahead, Martel.
No, but what I feel like you have your good Black people, then you have your bad Black people. And when I say that, Harriet Tubman was walking on that middle line.
How?
No. She freed the slaves. She freed the slaves, but she was still, on the goody side with the white people.
What I'm saying,
so now they no. But hold on. That's why they put her on that pedestal.
You can be used. I'll say you can be used
fact that she did everything that they wanted her to do. That's exactly
you can be used.
Black Hollywood now. Some of them are, they're considered rebellious for speaking out.
You can have the right intentions and still be used. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Of course, but Eliza, you here?
Wait,
is Eliza still here?
Yeah, she is, but
make sure her thing not.
You on mute, Eliza. I can't hear you.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Do you agree that Harriet Tubman might have been?
No. I'm not saying Harriet Tubman was a reverse coon. I'm saying your good intentions can be capitalized on by the people who are trying to capitalize on a group of people. They will use you. Peso, they will use you when they need you. They will take your good work and elevate it in order to capture the masses of us with your good deeds.
Think about that, Eliza.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, she freed the slaves. Was not saying she freed all the slaves. She freed a certain amount of slaves, took them from one region to another, where she was able to, change their status. So yes, she did that. What happened after the fact, I don't have too much information or knowledge on, so I'm not going to be ignorant and say something that I don't know. But what I will know is that the word term freedom is very subjective. Yes, she may have freed them. She freed them to an extent, but were they really free?
All right, listen. We're not going to rewrite history here, We're not gonna fucking try to sit on this Zoom and rewrite history, yo. It's not what we doing,
I'm saying that she freed them technically, but my whole thing is when Kanye made his statement, I don't feel like I know whether he meant, okay, she freed them, but really mentally we weren't free.
Because
Go ahead.
If it's in that context, then yes, he freed, they were free physically. Yes, we cannot take that away from history. We can't take that away from her.
All right,
there's no way that when he said it, there's no way.
All right, so let's go here. Let's go here right now. Black people today. Yeah, go ahead.
There's no way that when he said it that he meant that she didn't physically take people from one position to another. No, that would be stupid. That would be ignorant. Of course, he didn't mean that. So when he's speaking of freedom, I don't think he's speaking of it in the way that it's necessarily being perceived and kind of, being responded to or reacted to. So that's what I say about that.
All right, so let's go here. Black people today. We got a number of black people on here. Are we enslaved till today?
We're saying Black Lives Matter and we're doing all this riots and riotings. Of course, we're still enslaved. Why would we? We wouldn't be doing it if we weren't. What are we chanting for? What are we fighting for? We're fighting for equal rights, for freedom. So if we don't have equal rights and we don't have freedom, then yes, we're enslaved because we're not equal.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, Mick, where you at?
Mick, what's good? What's up? Yeah. What's good, B? Y'all all right?
We still enslaved.
Y'all good? Y'all good? Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Today?
Listen, man, this is me right here. This is me. I'm laughing at this whole conversation, B. I'm my man Simon Phoenix right now. Simon Phoenix right now.
Oh, but you know what's funny? It's funny you put him because what was Simon Phoenix? Oh, okay. What they do with him? Wake his ass up and use him to bring anarchy, to bring a savior.
Listen, at the end of the day, man, I do feel like we are enslaved. But the definition of it is a little convoluted. You know what I mean? I'm gonna stick to my point of, I'm gonna be honest and feel like and say that I might be ignorant to, psychological slavery, right? I'm on the physical aspect of it. That's something, and maybe because I visited slave plantations, I've read I don't know. Well, I have this background in back of me, but my bookcase is full of Black knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And there it is right there. I have nothing but black knowledge. I've read a lot. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, yes, we are. We're mentally, financially, and psychologically enslaved. Definitely, that's not something to actually even be debated. But we are not enslaved like the way they were back in the days. That's just the fact, man. We can't just keep saying especially when people keep saying things like, if I was a slave back in the days, I'd have been a field nigga. I'd have been the one out to beat myself. Come on, dude. At the end of the day, man. We just gotta, go with what's real, right? Yes, we are slaves. I agree with what Marcel says, what Mercy says, what Scott. I agree with everybody's point here, but I still don't want to negate that. It was slaves back in the days. It was different. Period. Mm-hmm. Period.
I'm sorry, I don't have a history of slavery in my family. We've done the research. We've done the knowledge. There's no plantation. This is what I'm saying. When people really start digging and getting into the story and really doing your knowledge for where you come from, you might find more times than not, there's not really that much slavery in your history. And it only goes back to what I was saying about if you convince everybody that they were slaves and you convince everybody that they were brought here, then they have no stake in this land here. You don't have no responsibility to the land here, which means it can be taken from you. If someone convinces you that the land that your family raised up on wasn't their land, then you willingly sell it.
So Scott, you're saying your lineage didn't come over on the slave ships?
I got red in my skin. Niggas was here. We didn't come nowhere. We've been here the whole time. You know what I'm saying? My family was raising farms and helping them people when they was coming over here. You know what I'm saying? And putting them on. Because how did they know how to do anything? Who taught them? This is a whole new territory, this whole new land. They coming from places where no grass grows and no carrots grow and no oranges. America is fertile land. Everything grows on this land, from corn to gold to oil. Everything is on America. So why wouldn't you try to dupe and convince the people of America that ain't theirs? It's not yours. Then you go, hell yeah, it's not mine. Send me back to where I'm from. Where are you from? Send us your blood and we'll tell you where you from.
So time out. So hold on. So you don't believe everybody came from Africa then?
I didn't say everybody didn't come from Africa.
You said y'all was already here.
Clearly, being already somewhere doesn't constitute you didn't come from somewhere. See, you could come from somewhere, but when they said that you got here is the key, right? They could tell you your family got here in 2020, but your family really got here in 1918.
All right. I'm just asking you a question. I'm not trying to I'm not questioning what you're saying. I just want to understand what you're talking about. Do you believe the first time Africans? Let me finish. Let me wait till you get off the phone. Because what he's saying is real interesting. You know, I've never heard somebody black say we were here already. So, Skotch, let me ask you this, Skotch. Do you believe that the first time Africans touched down in America was off of the slave ships? Yes or no?
I know that's not the truth.
Okay.
Are there pyramids? Are there pyramids in the Americas?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not gonna be ignorant.
Yes. There's pyramids in Americas, right?
Yes, South America.
Yes, no.
There's pyramids in America. There's a pyramid in Hollywood.
Yes.
We'll get into that later. But
okay.
if there's pyramids in America, see, there was a people called mound builders, right? And all through those areas that Mickey's talking about, there's great mounds and great mountains, right? Which was built with the same knowledge that the pyramids were built, right? But see, they convince you that you have no connection to those people. They tell you that, oh, this technology was invented so long ago, nobody knows how to do it again. You know how to do it. You just not tapped into the knowledge.
Yeah, go ahead.
We so disconnected. Erykah Badu said, they know who we are. See, the people who know who we are know what we're capable of. We don't know.
So were the Indians here?
They weren't Indians. Indians are in India.
They were in India.
But Mick just said yeah. Mick said yeah.
No, okay. So like there's a different connotation of quote unquote Indians, right? They were indigenous people, they were basically black people, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like they were basically black people.
They look like Mick and me.
And
but let's be real. They don't consider themselves black.
Yes, they don't. But some of them don't. But that's beside. I want to add to Skotch's point, right? Pardon me. I made some Branzino shit's fire. So to add to Skotch's point, right? I just recently found out 6 months ago that the original Asians were black. Like they taught these fighting techniques to the Asians over there. Like, and those people were black. Like if you look at their statues and you look at their writings on their walls, like they were black, right?
Right.
So if we take this knowledge, right, that the original Asians were black, then the indigenous people that were here in America, like they were already black. When you look at when you do a separation of the people of how people are classified, it's Caucasian, it's African, not African American. It's what is it, Skotch? Help me out here.
There's it's African American, there's Native, Indians, Pacific Islander.
But there's like three. There's three classifications.
I want to be fair to the conversation because I don't want to sound crazy on here. Who was here? How do we quantify who was here first?
All right, so let me explain something. When the world was created, it was one big landmass called Pangea. I don't know, I'm going to take you guys a little bit back. And we all originated from Africa, what is now the continent of Africa. Now, with the tectonic plates moving and causing all the earthquakes, it started shifting to South America, You had
the Big
Europe,
Bang
you had Asia, but then you had all these Black people who, because they now left the area of Africa, they started to lose the pigmentation in their skin. The melanin started to decline the farther away they went
from the equator.
Yes. So now that's why you see the early, and what Mickey Factz was saying was the first Asians that you see are Black.
So I think you're kind of saying what Skotch is saying, that there is no such thing as a certain people that was here. We were all here.
We were here.
Yes.
See, they only get the idea of
the Earth. It's because the Earth decided, okay, we're gonna separate. That's how you got the 7 continents. But you know, people were still on that one.
We all come from the same shit, bitch.
Exactly. So
all right.
it's
Yeah. All right. So I wanna. All right. Yeah, and what everybody said was dope. Let me go a little bit forward here now. Who believes Kanye's crazy here? Nobody.
No, I don't think
we all have a little crazy in us.
No, but
if someone stuck with any one of us long enough in a day, at some point, somebody gonna be like, "God damn." Okay.
Right. I'm not gonna lie. The first time I talked to Skotch Davis, I was like, "This nigga crazy."
I always say everybody's crazy. Everybody's crazy to me. Everybody. But in terms of Ye, I don't think Ye is crazy. I don't think he's crazy at all.
No, I don't think this man. But why is it that every time a Black man gets in a position to where he speaks his truth, we quantify him as being crazy?
He just answered it, because the people who capitalize on it need him to be crazy, so that we buy into the idea that he's crazy. You don't get that high up and don't see nothing.
No, but it's the same way as a white person goes into a school, shoots up the school, he has mental illness. A Black person shoots up everybody, he's a thug, he's a gangster. Oh, dude has the same mental illness that the other white man had when he went into the school.
But how about this? How can you not have mental illness living in this society? It's impossible.
Exactly.
This society is built to create mental illness.
At the end of the day, we're all walking around undiagnosed. We just don't have a diagnosis for ourselves.
There's nobody who is 100% mentally okay. Nobody. Know what I mean? Mick, you think Kanye crazy?
He's not crazy at all. Not crazy.
Okay, Eliza, you think Kanye crazy?
Not at all. Not at all. I don't believe he's crazy.
He said Get Out was about him, and he's alluding to the fact that he's a Black man trapped in a white circle.
Listen, again, a lot of times for us, this shit seems out of the ordinary. But just having the privilege, again, of having the type of lifestyle in my mom's and my father, whatever, or even just last night, right?
Shout out to Maria Davis, legend in hip hop.
DMX tells Snoop, you know where I got Get At Me Dog from? I got it from you. Why is it out of the realm of possibility that Jordan Peele wasn't sitting down looking at Kanye's life like,
yeah,
interesting. He's trapped. Every Black man that gets around him is trapped. Yeah. Every brother that ever gets around that family leaves worse than when they got there. Very few leave better.
That's a whole different discussion that I'm like, I don't even know where to start with that one. Lamar Odom.
Did you guys already discuss the fact that he cried? Is that something that's making him appear that he's not like...
Yeah, because they tell you you're not supposed to cry. Again,
and that's what I feel. I feel, do you know what? I feel like, you know, if you're up there winning a Grammy, you know what I mean? You can cry and be like, oh, I'm so grateful, because you're so, you know, you're so overwhelmed with gratitude that you're allowed to cry. But if you're going through pain and you're expressing something, it's a shame that, especially as a Black man, you've been taught that you have to conceal your emotions. You're not allowed to express yourself in a certain way. And eventually, that's what creates mental illness. That contributes a lot to mental health. So it's not really the fact that, you know, he cried. I mean, maybe it's just the fact that he cried in a public place, and that's not seen as normal. But then I think we're redefining normal, and I think we have to really kind of stray away from normal, because normal is defined by people who want you to behave a certain way, who want, you know, society to be structured a different way. So sometimes you have to question what's normal and what's not normal.
But listen, I'm gonna say this, man. I feel like every time a black man gets in a position of where he speaks the truth and it means something, they label him as crazy. I remember I read an FBI report where a white FBI agent called Huey P. Newton crazy for trying to get brothers a rebel against oppression in Oakland. That's when I knew crazy didn't exist for strong black men. You know what I'm saying? Because they get labeled that all the time, every time, whenever they decide to rebel against what's called the quote unquote norm.
Whenever you just start to ask questions, why? How do you, all my life, why you think like that? Why you say that? Because I got some fucking questions. Don't be mad at me because you just accepting whatever the fuck they telling you. I know that's why they messed with me in school. It's like, yeah, he's disruptive. I'm not disruptive. I'm just not following y'all program and y'all afraid. Y'all don't want to elevate me. You don't want me to make it to the next level with this kind of mind because I might hurt something, preferably something of yours. You don't want your systems come. I want to be. You know, I fought the Battle of Jericho. Walls came tumbling down. I don't play no games. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go.
No. Skotch has always been one of the more eclectic brothers I've ever talked to in this game, and for real. I want to get into this last thing before we get up out of it because I want to be respectful to everybody's time, and I appreciate. I want to say this too. Everybody on here, I deeply respect all of y'all opinions, man. Seriously, like I love how every single one of y'all think.
This is sick. It's a pleasure meeting you, Eliza. It's a pleasure meeting you, Mertella, No Mercy. Like this is what.
Likewise.
This is state of the culture. Not that other bullshit, because that's not the state of any culture.
Talk that shit, my G.
Of the culture. This is where we at. These are the conversations. Skotch Davis and Mickey Factz interactions. You know what I'm saying? Not, who's mad at who because of the blunt and who didn't pull up at the party because of the champagne. No, what we gonna do to get our minds right?
That's the fact. Let's get into this before we...
Hold on, you had asked a question yesterday about whether I thought that Kanye was relevant, in this culture, in hip hop culture, or just in culture in general. But I feel like regardless of, whether you agree with what he says or not, whether you think he's crazy or not, I feel like he's very relevant because he's making a lot of people go to google.com to research Harriet Tubman. He's making people, research things or think about things that they necessarily wouldn't. We wouldn't be having this conversation without him making those outlandish statements. So regardless of how we perceive him, I'm still very grateful for his contribution.
Honestly, I think after what I've seen the last few days, I honestly feel like Kanye is the strongest voice in Black culture because the world stops when he talks.
Yes, not only is he the strongest voice, he gets the most heat, and he takes it for us every time, whether we like it or not. He goes out there and he puts it on the line, and he got all his boys deals. Virgil got a deal because of Kanye. Old boy in Chicago got a deal. What's his name with this? Don Siege, Kanye. John Legend's relevant because of Kanye. Common's relevant because Kanye breathed life back into
Pusha T.
Pusha T's, come on, like, are we really going to do this? Adidas is relevant again because of Kanye West. Like, let's not do this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but let's be fair. Can he be a voice for Black empowerment under the thumb of Black corporation? I mean, under the thumb of white corporations.
Why are you speaking out? He's trying to tell y'all, help me. I'm trying to take him down.
Listen, he signed to Universal as an artist, and the Yeezy brand is under Adidas. Like, so it's like, we got to be real on that end.
But the Yeezy brand is like Michael Jordan's brand with Adidas, like Nike. It's not a subsidiary anymore. It's a partnership. You feel me? So.
Or is it that's what they telling us?
He's hired. I've seen with my own two eyes. Everybody he's hired has been his choice. They don't pick anything they don't pick any of his employees. They don't pick any of that. You see his feed. He's bigging up African artists. He's bigging up, like, we have to separate our personal feelings about certain things and just deal with the truth of the matter. Mm-hmm. He's speaking up. He got on live television and said everything that Kyrie Irving was saying and all the other players. Why are we worried about basketball right now? Why do we care about the NBA right now? How can we have such conflicting issues at the same time? This is impossible. This is why we're still enslaved.
Even bigger, what Kyrie was saying was, if we're not willing to sacrifice basketball for the bigger, greater goal, then what are we willing to sacrifice? And I want to say this. Skotch came on PMG Radio and said something that always resonated with me till this day, probably about 3-4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. He said, what is the goal? What is the end goal? What is the mission? What is the standard? What are we willing to sacrifice? And that always stood with me. You know what I mean? Because if we're not willing to make a sacrifice, we're not willing to see change.
And they know that. And then they know they won because they look out, like I said, we put Kanye out there. What's the response like? Everyone's dormant. We're good. We put Kanye out there. They waking up. We're in trouble. We got problems on our hands. They're coming.
Last thing before we get up out of here, while I got all of y'all here, I gotta ask Nick Cannon, should he have apologized?
No. And then the reason I say no is because if he didn't put out a statement saying that he disagrees with the whole situation and that he doesn't feel like he should apologize, if he didn't say that, I take the apology as cool. But you said you're not apologizing. So to go back on that as a man and apologize, nah. I wasn't feeling it.
What about you, Martel?
For Kanye, or not Kanye, for Nick Cannon, I feel like he should have apologized. And the only reason why I feel like that is because Nick Cannon is in a crazy situation where he has people's livelihoods in his hands, and a lot of stuff. There's a lot of moving parts. So if he stops, a whole bunch of other people's money stops. So he has
people willing to throw him bags.
I know, but maybe they're not throwing him the bags that allowing him
sacrifice for the greater good.
Okay, but are you sacrificing? Is he going to sacrifice himself, or is he going to sacrifice other people? If you're going to sacrifice yourself, then that's okay. But if
everybody under you got to be willing to take that ride. The same way they jumped on that record with him dissing Eminem, they took that ride with him. They need to take that ride with him through this too.
All right. Well, some of them are not willing to do that.
But they willing to jump on the record against the biggest rapper in the fucking.
Nick looked like he got flame for Nick. Nick got something for Nick. So I
Go ahead. Let me get Mick on. Let me get Mick in here. What do you think? Should Nick Cannon apologize?
Absolutely not. He should have not. And this is my response to that, right? Like I was telling you guys.
Yo, Mick, before you get crazy, remember you're a rapper.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon gonna have bars for him by tomorrow.
We good all day.
Trust me, Mick can't wait for that.
So just today, I was telling you guys earlier about the R. Kelly tweet that I put out, right?
Yeah.
Before I made that R. Kelly tweet, I said, I'm not tolerating disrespect on any of my social media platforms. I will mute you in a snap of a finger. I will delete a comment on Instagram in a snap of a finger, and I will delete any post that I have. I will delete on Facebook, right? So my response to that is Nick Cannon should have did the same thing. He felt the heat. It's the heat of social media that be making people crumble. It's social media that be making people falter. Nick Cannon is worth, I think, like $150, $200 million.
Yes, sir. A lot of money.
All he got to do is say, oh, they wildin'? Bet. Put his phone down, book a flight, go to an island for 3 weeks and come back like, oh, y'all still wildin'? Put his phone down again because nobody was working. So I understand what Mercy's wife was saying, but nobody was working anyway. They weren't working anyway. So if he got fired, They wanted him to apologize to. He said, I'm not apologizing to y'all. He took it upon himself to apologize to a specific community because the Jewish community believes that anytime you say anything that goes against what they believe in, it is propaganda. So they automatically took something that had nothing to do with them really and made it about them. So he did not apologize to nobody. And then on top of that, this is my final thought. Diddy said, I got the bag for you. Come to Revolt. Everybody will be good. Period. End of discussion, B.
But hold on. But the problem with that is you can't take something with you that you don't own.
He can create wildin' in. It doesn't have to.
Wow.
I'm gonna Eliza to go.
Yeah. Let me get Eliza in there real quick.
I'm about to throw some bullshit.
I don't think he had to apologize. I don't think he needed to, but I feel like if he felt compelled for some reason, whether he thought he had stuff on the line, whether he thought he shouldn't have said it in that way, whatever reason he felt like he needed to apologize for, I'm with it. If you feel like that's what you got to do, for whatever, for your sanity, for whatever the reason is, fine. I don't think he needed to, but I respect his decision to do so. That's it.
I got you. Let's get it, Scotch.
Oh, my nigga Nickelodeon. So I call him Nickelodeon because if we remember, that's where he basically made his money. That's how he was able to become vice president of Nick. Nick Jr. is basically Nick Cannon. So I think what happened to Nick was one of two things. I have two perspectives. I don't know which one it is. I'm trying to do the knowledge to figure it out. Either Nick was feeling himself a little too much, and because he was sitting with Professor Griff, he forgot that he was Nickelodeon Cannon.
Right.
And he tried to keep up with the convo, and he said something that he thought not only because of the people, the Jews that he's been around, because again, let's be frank, that's who gave him his money. The same people who told him you need to apologize are the same people who paid him. This goes back to what I'm saying earlier. So as much as it was social media, it was the guys, I'm trying to be real careful because I don't want them mad at me, but it was those guys. Like,
let's talk about it, my G.
You have to apologize. You can't speak like that after everything we've done for you, Nicholas. How can you go and say this thing about us? This is very disrespectful, Nick. And he was like, oh, shit. I got caught up in the moment of trying to be a real nigga.
Because niggas forget that Viacom is owned by some prominent Jewish people.
Damn. I got caught up in being a real nigga. Now,
right.
I was watching a podcast and they made a good point. They was like, you gotta remember who Nick Cannon is. This is a guy who his father is a real gangbanger. His dad was a legit gangbanger in LA. So he's bothered by this duality of like, I'm from the streets, but I'm Nick Cannon. So I want some authenticity and some validity to my shit, but I want to keep getting my checks. So I think either that happened to Nick and he got caught out there and he had to reel it in, or I think it's ironic that happened while Griff was on. And back to what I was saying, I wouldn't.
But let me ask you this, Scotch, not to cut you off, Scotch, but what do you think happened? Because he stood tall early that day, but then he folded later on that day.
Within 24 hours.
I would say that I think what could have possibly happened was, aside from that, is he could have been a pawn, man. Just like I said, they could have been like, yeah, Nick, we'll let you slide. We know you're going to apologize. Go ahead. You got Griff on your show. Let's see who's really feeling like you. Let's see who else we could cancel by dangling you out there saying some shit. Because again, Nick been down with them people for a long, long time. You can't tell me all of a sudden you have a Freudian slip all of a sudden now, and you forget to not acknowledge the same people that gave you your $120 million, that put you in position to make the $120. You see, and that, remember what we were saying about earlier, just because that money is accounted for through you doesn't mean that you can do something with it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
For all we know, they shut down all his cards. And he was trying to book that flight. For all we know, he was trying to make a move. And they was like, they're not allowing you to travel until you send an apology. And and he was like, yeah, but y'all put me up. It's some type of wicked skullduggery, man, and I just don't know which side of the fence it's on. But I say all that to say,
let me ask you, Scotch and Mick, as artists, is there an underground world in entertainment and hip hop that we don't know about?
Yes.
Talk about it.
If we could talk about it, it wouldn't be underground.
Dirty game, baby. Dirty game. That's why I got out of it. And I said, I'm independent from here on out because it's just dirty. Yeah. It's dirty.
I got you. Well, listen, man, I want to thank each and every single one of y'all. Like I said, man, I appreciate all of y'all minds. Man, y'all are just truly intelligent people. Let's give everybody, I want to get everybody's social media before we get about it. Let's start with Mick.
Yo, Mickey Factz. At twitter.com/Mickey Factz, MICKEYFACTZ, Instagram Mickey.Factz, and Facebook.com/official Mickey Factz. Hit me up. I respond to everybody. Dipset Bird Gang.
That's it. Eliza, let me get your social media. We about to get up out of here.
Eliza_Queen. ELIZA_Queen.
Got you.
On
All
everything.
right, Scott, let me get your social media before we get up out of here.
Skotch Davis on everything. SKOTCHDAVIS. If you spell it with a C, it will not be me.
Yo, Bertel and Mercy, let's get it.
No Mercy Harlem on anything. You'll find me somewhere.
Bertel Ernest Reed on Facebook and Haitian Boss Material on Instagram.
I want to say I'm just paid, so don't worry about me. But this was an incredible conversation. And listen, man, I want to continue these, man, because these dialogues, like Scott said, are necessary. Like we need to publicly have these conversations so the world knows the direction we're going in, man. There's a lot going on around melanin people who will share our skin color. And we need to, as like-minded people, we need to keep having these conversations, seriously. So I appreciate each and every single one of y'all, man. And that's Truth Be Told, man. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
All right.
Bye, everyone. Stay safe.
Fun and very informational.